Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show with your host, Bill Shelton. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
The Michigan golfer has traveled to French Lick, Indiana for the 2012 Big Ten Conference Golf Championship for both the men and the women. This is Bill Shelton. Along with Brad, we'll be covering the event this year from the famed resort in the Midwest that has been recently renovated at a cost of over $500 million. Two golf courses will serve as the venues for the men and women's sports, and for the first time there are several changes in the Big Ten Conference Championship. The first change is, in fact, that it is at a neutral site and not one of the host schools as it has been in the past. The second change is that both the men and the women are competing in the same venue, though the women will be playing at the Donald Ross course and the men will be playing at the relatively new Pete Dye course. The third change, of course, is that there is another member. There's an expansion of the Big Ten Conference as Nebraska will be competing in the conference championship this year for the first time. And the fourth change relates to the women's program. Instead of the 36 the first day, 18-18. The women will play 3 18-hole rounds of golf to determine the Big Ten championship. Brad has been reviewing the men's championship, and we're going to turn to him now, Brad, and bring us up to date on what's to be expected in the men's championship.
The men's championship this week at French Lick for the Big Ten tournament will be held at the Pete Dye course here in French Lick, Indiana. 7,100-yard new design from Pete Dye opened a few years ago that certainly will put these young men to the test.
We're here at the 2012 Men's Big Ten Golf Championship at French Lick Resort and Casino in French Lick, Indiana. We're fortunate again to bring you another first-year head coach. Chris Whitten is with us this morning from the University of Michigan. Career, what brought you to University of Michigan?
Sure, I'm from Michigan originally, Grand Rapids area. Went to Rockford High School and grew up in a golf family. My dad was a club pro at Blythefield Country Club for over 30 years, and played in major championships, played the senior tour, and so I had a great example of what good golf was growing up, and was fortunate enough to go to Notre Dame and play on the golf team there for 4 years in college, and really got into coaching right away after that.
Was there something in particular, Chris, that got you into coaching? I mean, obviously you had a good example with your father and had been around the game a long time. Was there something in particular that you thought you might be able to bring to the game, bring to these young men at the University of Michigan?
Yeah, I actually started my coaching career at Notre Dame, so I was fortunate enough to play for 2 head coaches there, in George Thomas and John Jasinski, who were both incredible teachers in their own unique ways, and I noticed all that. And so, I had such a great experience in college golf that I felt like if I could help recreate that or even make it better for some people, then that was something I was definitely interested in doing.
Now, 5 years, I believe, as assistant coach at Michigan, you were assistant and then promoted to head coach. What's been the biggest change for you, moving roles from the assistant coach to the head coach?
Yeah, I mean, as an assistant coach, you're really there to support the philosophy of the head coach. And as an assistant, you really get to sit back and listen. You notice everything that's going on, and you get to shape your own message that way. And so now as head coach, I've had great preparation, but it's definitely a different voice this year and a little bit different tone. And it's been change, I think, in a good way, but, it's been change for everybody, that's for sure.
Well, making it your own team.
Yeah, right on.
Well, Chris, we're sitting here in this beautiful hotel. The accommodations have been great. What a great experience for the young men of the University of Michigan and all the teams, for that matter, in the Big Ten. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the challenge that faces them when they go up the hill today back to the Pete Dye course. Right. It's a relatively new course. I had a chance to play it about 3 years ago when it was open, when it first opened, and a little too much course for me, but these young men's games are better than mine. Tell me a little bit about the course, the Pete Dye course, what you think about it, what were some things you saw out there as you were working in your practice rounds that you like about it, that you think is challenging about it. Tell me a little bit about the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that hits you on the first tee is obviously the view. And, for any golfer, I think you can get caught up a little bit in how beautiful it is. And for us competitive golfers, we've got to tune in real quick to that little fairway down the hill in front of us. So there's a lot of elevation change, a lot of hitting from high to low, low to high. And then with the wind blowing even just 15 miles an hour like it was yesterday, I think it's magnified even with the elevation change. But around the greens, I think it's really fair. I think you can definitely tell it's Pete Dye and his design, but it's generous enough in its own way. It plays tough, don't get me wrong, but I don't think there are too many scary shots out there, just challenging shots.
Well, this year's format has changed for the Big Ten as both the men and women are at the same place. You're on a neutral site as opposed to somebody hosting it at their home course. A change that at least appears going to last for the next 3 years, as the French Lick Resort and the Big Ten have agreed on that. Tell me a little bit about that change. I mean, you're playing with the women, or at least you're not playing with the women, but you're at the same place the women are, so all the Big Ten women's teams are here. It's a neutral venue, so nobody necessarily has any real advantage unless you decided to make a bunch of trips down here during the course of the year, but nobody has necessarily a home course advantage here. What do you think about the changes? Synergies, advantages, disadvantage to any of these changes?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of being at the same site with the women, the courses are over a mile apart, but the one nice aspect was we had our banquet with the women's program. And I think the Big Ten Conference said that might have been the largest or biggest attended sports banquet of the year so far. And, you know, we do see the women's team every day in practice, and in a way you do go through your season with that other program. And it was kind of nice to have it here at the end of the year with that camaraderie again with them. So that was nice. In terms of the neutral site for the men's team, I think the coaches have pushed for that for several years, and it was just approved by the athletic directors. To come and do it at French Lick, such a beautiful place, kind of makes a lasting memory for the kids. It's something that we're trying to do. We're trying to create wow experiences for the student athletes. And I think from a competitive standpoint, it's good that all the teams, at least in the first year, go out and have to do their homework as fast as they can. And then as we return each year, it's going to be level for the coaches, but for those players who start as freshmen, as sophomores, and getting older and older, they're going to have the biggest advantage of anybody coming back, rather than playing all 12 courses in the Big Ten. Every player on your team is going to be playing a new course for the first time. So I think it should be a good change, but we'll let it go a couple years and see how it goes.
See how that goes.
Yeah.
Tell me who you're counting on this week, or these last 36 holes, maybe to step up, be a leader, and pull Michigan back toward the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, Matt Thompson has been that guy for us all year. He's our only senior on the team from Battle Creek, Michigan, our senior captain. Matt's right there for having the low scoring average of all time for Michigan golf. So it's been great to watch him improve all 4 years, change his style slightly, but this year he's really come into his own with leading the guys by example and being vocal in our team meetings. And he's been there, he's done it, he knows what it takes, and the guys have been lucky to kind of watch him prepare over the whole season, just to see how everything that he does at home matches up with what he does in the tournament. So he's up there in the top 5 right now in this tournament, and we're rooting for him, and the other guys are getting experience and playing as hard as they can. But there's definitely a chance to move up one chunk today and another chunk tomorrow, and I think we've got a chance to be happy with where we finish here.
Chris, just one last question, if I could. As you look forward, just being your rookie season as a head coach, and you look forward to 3-5 years down the road, what's going to be the impact? What are you trying to do there at Michigan to I don't want to say turn the program around, but bring some national prominence to the Michigan golf program?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a great track record even in recent history. I mean, 2 out of the last 3 years we had a group of guys that finished in the top 10 at nationals. So I think the guys know what the expectations are. We want to definitely put a focus on this tournament that we're at right now. Every single year we want to compete for Big Ten championships. I'd love for every guy to leave the program with at least one Big Ten championship ring, and that's something that hasn't been done in a long time in Michigan. So we're working hard to create a culture of team, which is something that's synonymous with Michigan, I want them to leave with great college golf experiences, like we said. So we've got a lot on our plate. We're working hard, but I think Michigan is a great place to do it, and we've got a really nice message to share with a lot of people.
Well, Chris, it certainly sounds like you're on your way. It sounds like you've got a plan, you've got a strategy. Certainly have the resources and have a wonderful place to do that. Well, that's been our time with Chris Whitten, head coach of the University of Michigan men's golf team. We're here at the 2012 Men's Big Ten Championship in French Lick, Indiana. Chris, we wish you all the luck this week. Not only this weekend, obviously we're looking forward to Michigan making a turnaround there, but we wish you luck in the future and look forward to hearing great things from you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.